Welcome to Avalon State of the Arts, where we explore different components and dimensions of our school, Avalon School of the Arts, and its music counterpart, the Avalon Music Academy of Holland.
We're your hosts, Rich and Marie, and we look forward to sharing interesting topics about our school in a fun, easy-to-listen-to format.
Because my mom, who founded our school, taught me, if you're not having fun with this, then you're not doing it right. Hello, students, families, fans of Avalon. We hope everyone had a wonderful, fun, relaxing July 4th weekend. It was a fun time for us to kind of refresh and recharge, and we are so excited to be back this past Monday, back in action for the week. In some Avalon news, this upcoming week, we are presenting It's a Jungle Out There. That's the second part of our Broadway-bound theater camp over the summer, and tickets are now on sale. There's 22 Avalon students aged 6 to 11. They'll be taking an enchanting journey through the vibrant and diverse jungle, where they will learn that true happiness is not found in material wealth, but in the bonds of friendship and life's simple pleasures. This show is appropriate for all ages, and it runs 35 minutes. Tickets are $10 each and can be purchased on the AvalonSchoolOfTheArts.com website. Also, I just posted it to all of our social media, so you can check Facebook, Instagram, our Google account. It's going to be all on there. All shows are held at the True Gem Studio, which is right near the old Avalon location, 12330 James Street. It's Suite 110. And show dates and times are Friday, July 19, Saturday, July 20, and Sunday, July 21st, all at 6:30 p.m. We also have rehearsals going on for our summer dance department show, which is Peter Rabbit and Friends. And that's going to be taking place later on in August. It's Saturday, August 17. So I'll make sure we update everybody there when tickets are available and have times and everything like that. We also have some dance camps coming up soon, July 23rd through the 25th. There's Wonder Woman Camp, Pinkalicious Camp, Storybook Adventure Camp, and Raya and the Last Dragon Camp. So for more information on that, you can, of course, go to the AvalonSchoolOfTheArts.com website or give Amy at the dance department a call, 616-738-6495. There's still time to get signed up for that. Coming up in August, Dance Camp Junior and a dance intensive. That's going to be going on August 6 to 9. Same contact info there. Make sure you get in on dance camps with us this summer. In music news, first thing I need to do is give a big shout out to Hannah M., who is a piano student here at Avalon. Now, Hannah's goal was 20 minutes of practice each day. And I just received word from her teacher that in the last 6 months, January to June, Hannah logged in 1,860 extra practice minutes. So we're so excited for her. Congratulations. And we're going to have some special stuff for Hannah this week when she comes in for lessons. Congratulations. That's just great. I'm also happy and excited to announce that the Music Academy is at our highest enrollment ever, which is awesome for the summertime. So for any of you who want to get in, or maybe who took off for the summer, want to get back in, I would highly recommend sign up as soon as possible, because we're expecting a big rush, of course, come August, and we're doing our best to open new time blocks and accommodate students. But the quicker you can get signed up, the better chance you have of securing a good after-school primetime spot. And now, part 2 of the history of Avalon. Well, hello, Marie.
Hi, Rich.
How are you today?
I'm great.
I am as well.
I am glad to hear it.
And I'm excited about part 2 of the history of Avalon.
I'm excited as well.
All right. So I guess in kind of summary, for those who may have not heard the first part, which I guess you could just go and click on the other one. Basically, we're at the point where we're ready to do an expansion. Now, this gets me involved, and basically up until this point, I have been teaching guitar lessons up in Grand Haven and doing about 50 students a week at a music store there, which was called Guitar Haven. So at this point, without getting too far into it, then my mom wasn't doing too well, and she passed away.
We were basically in a position where, we were going to be business partners because your mom had passed, and had to kind of come up with how we were going to keep moving forward and growing without her, and realizing that might then mean things might look a little different. And one way that they could look different in a really positive way was expanding the music program. Exactly.
So therefore, we'd pretty much exhausted all of the area in the part of that mall where we were. And it made sense to look at a different space, which would give us more dance rooms, and then also, too, the ability to put in some music lesson rooms.
Yeah.
And initially, that was from the standpoint of then I would be able to teach in Holland. And I think, too, that you and I could spend more time together. We'd be in the same building.
Right. Because we had spent the previous 10 years, pretty much not seeing each other a whole lot, for certain during a working day, because our schedules are kind of opposite. So that was a really nice added bonus that we would actually be able to be in the same place for most of the day.
So then, the visualization of this is we move into this big warehouse space, and it went really well. They did a great job kind of carving out a floor plan for us, and putting up some walls and doing some construction to make the space what we required. We had 5 dance rooms then, which were bigger than the previous areas.
Yes.
Yeah. And then on kind of the periphery of that, initially it was going to be 3 music rooms, and then on the other side there was an area that I was kind of almost considering, could that be like a little music store? And then we had 2 storage areas on site. And then I started teaching there, and my schedule filled up really quick with Monday through Saturday. Here we go. And we kind of discovered, hey, that's a nice niche, almost like what you were talking about before in the last episode with one family doing kinder music on one side and doing dance on the other at the same time. That was then great for families that were doing dance, and maybe a brother or sister takes music lessons while the sibling is in dance.
Correct.
Which is still, a wonderful thing that we offer today. Is that kind of...
it's really convenient. And then in addition to that, around that time as well was when Joellen came on as our theater instructor, and she had her own space at the Holland Town Center, which was just right adjacent to us, so that the theater kids could just walk across the courtyard and take lessons with her, and then come over, do their dance class, do their music lessons. It was all really very communal. And also, one thing I really liked about that space, although sometimes on Wednesdays in particular it was always crazy, is that we had our big central waiting room area that the families all hung out in during while their kids were in class. And so that was something we hadn't had before, and I think it really did give an opportunity for people to meet new people and make friends. And until
a couple of years later, but we'll get into that.
Oh yeah, during COVID that didn't work out so good.
Getting ahead of ourselves
here. Yes.
So then, because of that, then I started looking to hire teachers. And then the first person that came on board, who is still with us today, is Mr. John. And I did an interview with him a couple episodes back.
So he started teaching piano with us too. That was going great. We also had Miss Joellen was doing some piano lessons, and Miss Tori from the dance department was doing violin and cello.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, and so then the program just kept kind of like expanding and expanding. The next step was the area that I had envisioned as my little music store became the drum room.
Yeah.
Right? And then we had Kevin, Mr. Kevin, who's now his brother is teaching brass and woodwinds for us.
Oh, I didn't realize
It's
that
the
was
guy
his
that
brother.
looks just like Kevin.
Okay. Well, I guess that makes sense then.
Yeah, so Mr. Andy. All right. Now, then, so Kevin starts teaching drums. So we have like those 4 rooms going. And then it came to the point where the 2 storage areas, we had to get everything out of there and move storage off site because we added in a bunch of new teachers this would have been 2019.
Yeah.
Yep, and then the schedule for music was like full.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
Instantaneously, yes. And so then that brings us to 2020 when suddenly that lobby that you're talking about is no more.
Right.
Right? And this is
Oh, it was so fun in that lobby. Remember we had a coffee maker and we had like the cozy, like those cozy chairs. Yeah, that all had to stop in 2020,
exactly.
Unfortunately.
I remember this vividly because, every day it seemed like we learned a new level of what was happening here with COVID. And initially, at least in the music department, we thought, well, we're going to go online, we're going to go on Zoom, but the teachers, they can still come in.
Right.
But then, like a day later, it's like, no, we can't do that either.
Well, it was so hard too because we would come up with a plan for how we were going to move forward and keep things going, and then there would be a bit of information shared with us that made that not work, and we had to keep reinventing over and over. So
I think
kept us on our toes.
At the beginning of that, though, there was an understanding that we had talked about where it was always going to be, well, there will be a plan. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, there was never any sort of a situation where we said we're going to throw this in. It's like, well, there's going to be a plan for this to happen. Whatever that has to be, we're going to make it work. We're going to do it. And I think that was a really important thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. It meant a lot to the kids too. I know that a lot of the families said that consistency, because the kids weren't able to go to school in the same way anymore, that the consistency of always having their music lesson or their dance lesson, gathering, seeing people that they're friends with on Zoom or Skype or however we were doing it was very important, like for their mental health and for giving them something to look forward to.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, being able to see their teacher and do their class or do their lesson, even though obviously it wasn't what they had been doing, but it worked. And I think it taught us a lot too, from the standpoint that the students that I was working with, I would tell them, I know that this is something different, and it's going to take longer to achieve the things that we would have in person because there's going to be some challenges here, right? From the standpoint of us not being in the same room and the standpoint of us being on video, but that doesn't mean that you quit.
Yeah.
That you can do these challenges and get around it. It'll make you stronger, and it'll make you a better person and a better musician afterwards.
Yeah.
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 So we did that for 3 months.
Yep. And then we were able to do outdoor lessons, which started happening. Remember they said we could start gathering.
Yeah, it was like May.
Outside. And it was in June, and I know that because it was the absolute hottest June on record in I don't know how many years. And we were outside. Oh, goodness. That was, I'm having all sorts of memories right now. But we had pop-up tents. We put up the tents.
Yeah, exactly. We had for each one of the dance areas, and we had kind of like, this was really cool of the mall, too, to let us do this stuff.
Yeah.
Because it it helped so
They
much.
wanted us to be successful, so it
Yeah,
made
they
sense.
went above and beyond, and I think that should be noted, is that then each dance area had its own cart, and the teacher would drag the cart out, and it had like water and supplies.
And we had our
the-
JBL speakers
Yep,
and
the
our
speakers
iPads to play music.
To play music,
Yep.
exactly. And then for the music department, we built, it was like a tent city. That was like around the perimeter of the building, right?
Yeah.
So we got those pop-up tents. I bet I could still put one of those things up in like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And we had to put them up every morning, and then we'd do lessons, and each teacher would be under their own tent. However, there was like some overhangs from the mall too that provided some shade. And then we drag out all the pianos and stuff, and then at the end of the day, we had to put them back in and tear the tents down.
And then put it all back up the next day. It was like
Exactly.
Groundhog Day.
Yeah. And of course, there are some like volume challenges with music lessons. Obviously, you know, like there's some instruments that are going to be louder than others. So we had to put the drums all the way down.
Yeah, by the gap.
Exactly, in their own space. And then our office manager, Amy's husband, built this like barricade behind it, so that way the sound wouldn't go in one direction, so that way we could have violin lessons
That's
next
right.
to them.
Poor
right?
violinists. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
it was quite the procedure.
It really was.
You know, but that was exciting. We got through the summer, and then in the fall, like September, October, I think we were
Yeah.
told we could be back inside.
Yeah, in masks.
Yeah, exactly. And we had, I remember we had, for every music room, we had the 10-foot distance taped out
Or
and
6 feet,
everything.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, in all the dance rooms, we had to tape squares on the 6-foot squares on the floor so the kids could be
Yep.
spaced out.
And that lobby we were talking about with all the chairs then was no chairs and kind of like stanchions that then
Yeah, so it
People
was like
would,
one-way
like-
traffic.
yeah,
Walk this
one-way
way, walk that
traffic.
way. So
Exactly.
there were a lot of challenges, but
Yeah.
we got through them. So.
Indeed, and then things, you know, started to come back around, and I think we were all stronger for it.
Yeah, and I think that one thing that entire experience really did was solidify, I think, our faculty and our staff, our office staff together as a team, because we were working so hard together to accomplish the same goal, which we always are because we're a business, but it was different because the challenges were different. And, you know, people had to rely on each other in a different way.
Yeah, and I think that also, too, then kind of trickled down and translated to students, too, because it was kind of like we're all in this together.
Yeah.
Sort of a mentality, you know? And we got through it all together, too, which was
Right.
a wonderful ending
Right.
to that chapter. And that would then bring us to, maybe like right around, what would have been, like January of...
What are we talking about? I don't know.
Now we're talking
Looking
about
for a building?
the transition to this building.
So that
right?
would have been January
23.
23.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Where then we were looking to do another expansion, and we started looking at places to see if anything would suit our needs. And gosh, what did we look at? Like 3?
Just 3 buildings,
Yeah.
but this was the first one that we came into, and I knew right away when we walked in. It didn't look like much of anything, but you know, it was messy, it was dirty.
Yeah,
but
it had
I
been
looked at it and I
vacant
was
for some
like,
time.
oh yeah, this is it.
Yeah, and it took a while to visualize, and then we got the plans and started working on the layout. And then we were able to see how it would work. And just going from something, what would you say that is? Going to something specific.
Yeah.
Yeah, from something ambiguous to something specific.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And I remember one of the things that I just noticed about myself in when we found this building is that when we made that initial transition from the original Avalon building, so some people will remember like the castle mural we had there, like where we started Avalon in 2004. I had a lot of sentimental attachment to that space because that's where we started and where our kids were little. And, that's where Ruthie always was. And then when we needed more space and we needed to expand and we moved over to the other space in the mall, that was really hard for me. Like I think you kind of dragged me kicking and screaming a little bit because I was having a hard time of letting go of what we had before. And, once we were established in that newer space, it felt like home and it was great. But I didn't feel sadness at all leaving that second space because I was so excited about this building and the potential and the possibilities that were ahead of us here. And so it's just been a really joyful experience to be able to come home here.
Yeah, I spoke about that a little bit this past dance recital, but the recital before that, just because there were a lot of the seniors that were graduating who were kind of sad that they wouldn't be able to go back to the old Avalon, that it was something new, and kind of got into that a little bit this year when I spoke about the theme of home for the 20th anniversary and how this is our new home. But then the issue that I tried to piece together was that home can change, and at some point it's just it's this idea of Avalon being home, right?
Right.
That everything that we do and the physical location could change, but basically inviting those dancers to come and visit us at our new home.
Well, and that's been really neat to see too, because when kids do come back, and they do, like we have our alumni dance and they just come to visit, they love it. Like they think it's so cool that we're here now and they think the space is beautiful. And I've never heard anybody say, oh, I wish you guys were still at the old space. They recognize that it's the people, it's not the walls that make a home.
Exactly. And it's always something, moving forward. And I think that too is a part of it from the standpoint of graduating seniors, and sometimes how we get, teary-eyed when we talk about it at recitals, is that we know that they have so many amazing, wonderful things that they're going to be doing in their lives. I get choked up talking about it now, right? And this is a part of it, but it's just kind of accepting that change and seeing that it's a positive thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, and that brings us to now and all of the fun that we're having here.
It's awesome.
Right? And so it's just like you said earlier, it's just been the most wonderful journey, and we're so thankful to everyone that has been a part of it, all of our students, all of our families, all of our teachers, all of our staff, everyone who has been along. We're so thankful for you all.
Yeah. And I said this at the recital too, but when I think back 20 years ago, there were just those first, I remember the names of, I think, every one of my students that first year. Even if they only took for a year, I could look at a picture and name all of them because they were just so all in. Their parents just believed in us and encouraged us and really invested. And the people who stayed with us beyond that year stayed, like just until their kids were grown and graduated. And, nobody really succeeds on their own. You have to look to the people who've supported you and helped you to become who you are. So those first families really will always have a special place in my heart.
Yeah, and thank you to all of them. And I guess just know that we're still here at it. We're swinging for the fences. We're always making things better. We're always adding in new programs and making changes to make it even more fun and better for the kids whenever we possibly can.
Yeah. So here's to the future.
Indeed, here's to the future. That was a fun chat.
Yeah, thanks for chatting with me.
Avalon offers dance classes, music lessons, and theater classes 6 days a week. With over 40 teachers, we have something for kids and adults and everyone in between. You can reach the dance and theater department at avalonschoolofthearts.com and the music department at avalonmusicacademyofholland.com.
Where dreams begin is in that magical space within. When your heart and your mind and your soul intertwine in wonder, that's where dreams begin.